Hey everybody, today we're going to take a look at some updated polling out of Pennsylvania. We've got the U.S. Senate presidential primaries and general election. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into the first poll. This is from Quinnipiac. It was done with over 1,700 registered voters. And the first race it looks at is that U.S. Senate election next year. We know it's incumbent Bob Casey for the Democrats. And it looks like at this point the Republican challenger is going to be the runner-up last time, David McCormick. In this poll, Bob Casey is leading by 50 to 44, and it's only one poll, but a 6-point lead seems to be great for the Republicans. I don't think Bob Casey winning by 10 is even out of the question. He's been in there a long time, seems popular. It's hard for me to imagine this getting close, but I guess you never know. Maybe Casey just doesn't get it done and McCormick surges, but I think it's much more likely Casey holds on. Democrats do back Casey 96-2. Republicans back McCormick 89-7. So McCormick with more defections than Casey, but with independents, it's basically split, McCormick getting 45, Casey 44. That's also a little surprising to me. I would think Casey would have a little bit more appeal with independents, but maybe this is turning into a sleeper race and Casey is actually vulnerable. I don't think it is, but I'm open to being surprised. Casey has a favorable rating of 42-26, and surprisingly 31% haven't heard enough about him. McCormick's favorables are at 25-17 with 57% that don't know. It is a 6-point lead for Casey, but we'll see what it ends up being once election season actually rolls around. Now, how about the primary for president? Well, Donald Trump has a significant lead. He's at 61%. Ron DeSantis is in second with 14. That's an improvement for Trump since the previous poll in June. And Nikki Haley is in third with 8% and then down from there. So no surprise, Trump leading, especially in the Rust Belt state of Pennsylvania. How about the other side? Biden has 70% support in his primary. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., 17%. Marianne Williamson is down at 5. Basically, that's stagnant since June. So this is exactly what we would expect so far. How about the general election? Well, Trump is actually leading 47-45. That's similar, but a 1-point increase for Trump since the last poll. Trump pulling in 90% of Republicans, Biden with 93% of Democrats. With the crucial independent bloc, Trump is leading by 9, 48-39. If that actually held, that would be concerning for Biden and a solid sign for Trump. How about their favorables? Very similar numbers. Biden sitting at 39%, 57 unfavorable. Trump not much better, 40 favorable, 56 unfavorable. So we've got the most urgent issue here. Not much exciting here. We'll skip over that section. We'll go down to the job approvals. Governor Shapiro, he's popular, 53% approve, 27 disapprove. We've got Bob Casey again. Here he's at 48 approve, 31 disapprove. And how about their other senator, John Fetterman? He's in the red with 41 approve, 48 disapprove. So that's the Quinnipiac poll. To get an idea of their reputation, let's switch over to 538. Here's their accuracy in terms of political bias. There's a lot on both sides, but more do fall on the side of overestimating Democrats. But that's all time. Let's look at the recent ones. We've got 3 from the midterms. None of these 3 are really off by that much. They didn't really poll much, but they were only off by about a point or 2. How about back in 2020? Here they do have a lot of misses. In Ohio, they had Biden winning by 4. Trump won it by 8. That is a massive 12-point error. Florida, again, they had Biden up by 5, underestimating Trump by 8.4. And since we're on the subject of Pennsylvania, they had Biden winning by 7. He won by 1.2. It's a little better, but still a 5.8 underestimation of Trump's support. Of course, there's more here, but it's hard to say which Quinnipiac we're going to get. Are we going to get one from the midterms where they were mostly accurate, or are we going to get one from 2020 where every single one of these polls moderately or significantly underestimated Trump or the Republicans? Either way, this time they do have Trump up by 2 points in PA in 24. Let's go on to the other poll. We've got Susquehanna, and they sampled 700 registered voters in Pennsylvania. This one starts off with a Joe Biden-Nikki Haley matchup. Haley is ahead 1 point, 45-44. That matchup does not seem likely. Let's go down to the Biden-Trump matchup. This is kind of the opposite of the Quinnipiac poll. This has Biden up by 2, 47-45. 4% another candidate, 5% undecided. Both Biden and Trump overwhelmingly have support from their own party, but the big difference here is independents. This is also a flip of the Quinnipiac poll. With independents, this has Biden leading 42-31. That is a significant lead, and that of course would be a bad sign for Trump, great sign for Biden. But which of these polls is correct? Well, I always say you've got to take a look at more than one poll, and if you're just going to look at these two, you're going to have to take a look at 3 or 4, because we're getting a lot of conflicting data. The top line number does show a 2-point race, between Biden and Trump, but to have more than a 15-point discrepancy between the independent voters on these two polls, that's a big deal. Neither side should have much confidence when they see that key voting block. But just like with the Quinnipiac poll, we can get on 538 to take a look at the reputation, and Susquehanna has a B+. Quinnipiac actually had an A-. Might be hard to believe after all those errors in 2020, but let's see how this pollster did in 2022. They have Pennsylvania governor, pretty close on Shapiro, only underestimating him by 1.2. In the Senate, they did have Oz winning by 1, Fetterman winning by 4.9. That's a decent error. That is beyond the margin I thought it would get to. Nevada governor, they were spot on with that, only 0.3 of a point off. But in the Nevada Senate, they had Laxalt winning that by a likely margin of 5.6. That's an overestimation of the Republican by 6.4. So they got a couple of hits there, couple of misses. How about back in 2020? They did poll Pennsylvania. It was a narrow election. They came out on the losing side. They had Trump up by 0.8. They were off by 2. On Florida, they underestimated Trump by 2.4. Same margin, same direction in Wisconsin by 2.4. And the rest of these are kind of split up. So there's some misses on each side. Of course, you could go even farther back, but my perception is this pollster's Susquehanna is a little bit more favorable toward the Republicans, and Quinnipiac is a little bit more favorable toward the Democrats. However, in these Pennsylvania polls, they appear to be on the opposite sides of those biases. It's hard to say who's right and who's wrong, but that's a quick update on what's happening in Pennsylvania. Of course, all the links will be down below in the description, and in both of these polls, you could scroll down even further to take a look at some of the crosstabs or get some demographic breakdown, but I'm going to leave it there for now. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about these two polls? How about that Senate election between Casey and McCormick? Is Casey really only up by 6? But what about the general election between Biden and Trump? Which of these polls do you trust? Who actually has the massive lead with independents? And who's going to win the state? Is it going to be Biden? Is it going to be Trump? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.